Hi folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So today we're going to be taking a look at another veteran build. This is going to be something you probably haven't seen me play with before because, well, I never really gave it a chance, but after playing with it for an entire live stream, which you guys can check out in the channel if you want to see gameplay of this, I played for like 5 hours straight that we're playing with a plasma gun. And honestly, I should have picked it up sooner because I actually had a really good time playing with it. It's a very fun weapon. I will caveat this right now. I still can't do the reload animation cancel glitch. I'm just crap at it. So if you can do it, awesome. If you can't, it's not a massive problem. You know, just be aware there is one, and if you can learn how to do it, go for it. If not, eh. Anyway, so plasma gun, shockmore. These are the weapons we're using. So let's jump straight in, shall we? We'll have a look at the gear first. So at the moment, I am using the Indignatus Mark III Shockmore with Flak and Maniac. And blessings-wise, we've gone with High Voltage and Thrust. But you can change these up to whatever you fancy. For example, Head Taker, Slaughterer, whatever you want. The Shockmore is just quite a fun weapon to use. And it lays down a electrocute dot on everything you hit. And as you can see with High Voltage, you do 20% more damage to electrocuted targets. Very fun weapon, but honestly, you can use whatever goddamn weapon you want for your melee. But of course, as is a plasma build, you need to be using a plasma gun. So, this is the gun I am using. It isn't rolled perfectly, but I'm keeping this for when the crafting patch drops, because when the crafting patch drops, we can change every single perk and blessing to be exactly how we want. And the modifiers on this gun are almost god roll tier of goodness. Basically, you want ammo to be your dump stat, and everything else you want as high as possible. As for blessings, I would say Flak and Maniac, or Carapace and Unyielding. So that's for the perks, and for the blessings, you want Gets Hot and either Shattering Impact, or where's the other one? Or Blaze Away. So you always want Gets Hot, and you can either put Blaze Away or Shattering Impact. Both of them very, very good. Just depends on how you like to play. And for the Curios, we're going to go with one with health, with damage resistant gunners, max health and toughness regeneration. You can switch out the max health for toughness. Actually, I would suggest switching out the 4% max health to 5% toughness. And then the other two are going to be using toughness. And on this, I've got 4% max health, 20% damage resistance to gunners, and 30% toughness regeneration speed. And again, toughness regeneration, damage resistant snipers, and 5% toughness. I do suggest you have at least 2 gunner resists if you really want to, and you want to go full on turtle protective mode. Get rid of the 4 or 5% max health or toughness and change that to sniper. So you'll have damage resistance gunners, damage resistance sniper, and toughness regeneration speed. And you can do that on every single one. But it is completely up to you how you go with that. Of course, you'll have less toughness overall, but more defense versus those two specific enemies. So it's a trade-off, really. You know, however you want to go. Right, talents. So as it's me, obviously it's voice of command build. It's the only build I like playing with veteran. So we're taking on Longshot, deal up to 20% range-based damage bonus. The bonus is reduced the nearer the target is. So the further out it is, the more damage you do. We were grabbing Close Order Drill, up to 33% toughness damage reduction, the more allies in coherency. To boost that, we're taking Charismatic for an increased aura, which will make it easier to stay in coherency. And Confirmed Kill, replenish 10% toughness on elite or special enemy kill, and a further 20% toughness over 10 seconds. This is a very important talent. This is going to keep us chugging along through the entire run. And of course going to the stamina boost because we have to. Again, some more toughness there. Grabbing the crack grenade. So because you've got the plasma gun, you're not going to have to use your crack grenades as often to kill crushers, bulwarks, that sort of thing. But what crack grenades are even better at killing are monstrosities. You just tear them to absolute pieces. You become the elite hunter with crack grenades and the plasma gun. I'm going to be taking health boost, picking up 5% range damage over here. Grenade Tinkerer, this is going to make the crack grenades even nastier. Picking up Fire Team, just for some plus damage. Into here, grabbing Demolition Stockpile. This is going to replenish your grenades every minute. And it's going to keep you from in that, rat race of grabbing grenades where you can. You will always have access to your grenades. And of course, we're grabbing Voice of Command and Duty and Honor. And we're grabbing the Suppression Boost. We're going to jump over here to the left for more ranged damage. Into Precision Strikes for 30% weak spot damage. This is a lot bigger. This is a much bigger impact on this build than it is with, say, like the Recon, Lasgun, and all that sort of thing. Because we're doing so much damage with per shot that this is really going to buff up that damage when you shoot them in the weak spot. And usually that's the face. Or in the case of the Crusher, the neck, just under the helmet. That's the weak spot. Fully loaded for more ammo. And Superiority Complex for 15% base damage against elites. Then we're going to jump back over to the middle. We're going to grab For the Emperor. Your combat ability gives you and your allies the coherency 10% melee base damage and 10% range base damage for 5 seconds. So every time you use that, you do more damage. Then we're growing Tactical Awareness. Combat ability cooldown reduced by 6 seconds on specialist enemy kill. As I said, with this you are mostly hunting elites, specials, heavy armor, all that sort of thing. Of course you can use your plasma gun to just blast away through hordes because it's hilarious, but this is just going to keep you ticking over and keeping your team alive. We're going to grab Iron Will for 50% reduced toughness damage if above 75% toughness. Into Rending Strikes, gives 10% rending to all weapons. Bring It Down, 20% damage to Ogryns and monstrosities. Again, we're just stacking damage buffs. And then Focus Target. Tagging an enemy applies the Focus Target stack to them, causing them to take 4% additional damage for each stack and reset your Focus Target down to 1. Which is also why we are taking Focused Fire here, so it's 8. And that's going to give us an incredibly large amount of damage, but it's also going to give us Toughness. If an enemy you have tagged dies, replenish 5% Toughness and 5% Stamina for each stack of Focus Target applied to you and your allies in coherency. And also Redirect Fire. If an enemy you have tagged dies, grant 1.5% damage for each stack of Focus Target applied to you and your allies in coherency lasts 10 seconds. So you are buffing your team with so much damage and damage reduction that it's going to make the entire run easier for everyone, especially if you learn how to really lay down these taggings and focus targets as much as you can. So I've bound my tagging key to C, so it's very easy to just move it around. And as I was saying, it goes up to 8 stacks, so generally you want to leave it first of all so it gets to 8. Tag, then you can charge it up with the right mouse button, and it blows its head off. So right mouse button charges it to do a very, very, very heavy shot, but it also increases the heat. And if you get to 100, your gun will explode and it will kill you. So that's the only thing you really need to be careful of when you're charging to do heavier attacks. Let's just see if I can overload the gun. Okay, I'm at 100. If I fire again, I will die. And now the gun betrays you. and it basically works the same way as a Psyker if they go over their perils. But you can also do this. And this is just the normal left click shots. As you can see, it does less damage, but still an awful lot. And let's see what happens at 100 when we just do normal shots. Nothing. So, your gun will only explode if you are charging it with the left mouse button, right mouse button, sorry. If you are overcharging the gun, it will then explode. So yeah, I mean, most of you will already know this, but I mean, for newer players who've never touched it before, that's kind of how it works. Now, the reload on this thing is ridiculous. It takes ages. There is an animation cancel you can do. I just can't do it. I can't get the hang of it, and it annoys me, but that it is what it is. But there is a way to reduce the heat in the gun, the same way it does on the Psyker. So let's charge up some heat. And for me, it is mouse button 4. There you go. You hold it down, and you just vent some heat out of the gun. And then you vent the heat. But what you need to do is remember not to reload too often. This gun has basically 2 clips in it. So as long as you just keep an eye on it, you're not going to get caught in the ridiculously long reloads. Which is most people's problem with the gun. So just remember to vent your heat. Not down too far, because obviously we want to keep the heat up. Because we want to keep gets hot going as much as we can. So it's up to 50% critical chance scaling of heat. So you want to keep it riding around between 60 and 70 really. And also remember, it blows through targets. You don't always have to charge the shot, but it is good. So, let's talk about the shock maul. Depending on what one you've got, the heavy attacks on this are strike down, and you can pretty much kill anything with it. And for hordes, just light attack. But don't forget, if you get caught, especially by rages, which is this is mostly going to happen with, you can use your special action button to tase him and then stove his skull in. And that is the cowpoke. And of course, as this is a voice of command build, just use it anytime you see your team taking toughness damage or things are getting hairy. You just press F. And you just keep that rolling as much as you can. And just try and support your team. Because that's kind of what it does. The voice of command, it's a support build. But it's a support build with a nasty, nasty bite. And of course, crack grenades. You probably don't need to know what they do. Because they just glue themselves to Ogrins. There you go. That is the Plasma Voice of Command build, folks. Sorry I've been a bit rambling. There's just been a few points I needed to make sure I got across properly. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. It really does help us out. And as I said, if you want to see this build in action, go check out our live streams from this week, which would have been last week in June, early few days of July, and you should find it along the live streams. And that's it. As I said, I do hope you've enjoyed, and I will catch you guys later. So take it easy and see you later.